This has been something that we have changed in our business 10 times. A skinny property that's great for a billboard. That's not for me. That might be for someone listening. Oh my gosh, I'm a billboard guy. That's great. Great for you. It's not always going to be the same for all of us. For me specifically, I'm looking for that buildable piece of land. Someone can build a home. It's got utilities. That is the box.
Talk a little bit about what your initial texting sequence looks like. You send out that first text message, and then what? Do you drive them to a call? What does that look like?
Such a great question. So the goal of your text is really to elicit a response. We want to try and get them, because once they respond to you, now you're open to do a lot of things that you couldn't do if they haven't responded. For example, if they have not responded to you, you have to wait 30 days between text messages. If they respond to you, I can text them every day. I can send them links. I can send them all these emojis. I can put them on an automated drip. If I really want to try and get a response from them, a couple best practices on the first text. I always need to think about what's everyone else doing. If this was new real estate investors who don't really exactly know what they're doing, their kids in college, they're just trying to mess around. What are they doing? They're saying, hey, first name, I'm wondering if you're interested in selling your property. I'm buying land. Super broad. Not personal, probably not even saying hi first name, honestly. Let's be real. They probably aren't bringing that in. This is where it just is about the time you have. And this is what we're doing. Every time we go into a new market, I am creating a new set of initial text templates. So if I'm going into Jacksonville, I am writing a text to somebody that has land in Jacksonville. I am going to say something about the coast. I'm going to say something about being close to a specific airport, or say something like, I always give the example, I live in Minneapolis, but it's called the Twin Cities here. It's Minneapolis and St. Paul. But if you didn't know this area, you probably wouldn't say, I'm investing in the Twin Cities for the last couple of years. If you didn't know this area, you wouldn't probably even know what that means. And because land investors have this tendency to jump around, we probably don't know, honestly. So that's on us to do the research and try to be as personalized as possible. I would even say Michael's doing infill lots. I'd say probably should be a very specific message for infill lots versus rural. We're not asking is water at the lot line. So as personal as possible. Usually we're asking a question about the property. We're trying to get that engagement. I'm not going right for the kill of people have said, would you put a price in the first text? Absolutely not. I am trying to get them to respond.
Got it. So once you drive them to a call, what does the sequence look like after that in terms of your CRM?
We send the first message. The goal, it always depends on the property type. So if we're going after a flip, your 10 to 20K flip, I am not spending a bunch of time asking about their sister's cousin who used to own we don't have time for this. We have to qualify them out as soon as possible. I coach my team every day. I'm an optimist. A lot of my team are optimists. We have to assume that all these people are wasting our time, because the truth is that 95% of the people that text you back either want market value or they don't want to sell in the next 30 to 60 days. They're wasting our time. So we really have to try and qualify them out as fast as possible, while also maintaining a level of legitimacy and trust and credibility, and not trying to get them out of the conversation and just toss them a price and hope for the best. This is where this art comes into play, and we probably won't have enough time to go into the importance of great VAs and coaching your VAs, but that is a big piece of asking a question, and then maybe tell a little about us, and maybe float a range, and we softly try to qualify them out as fast as possible. That is a skill. And then that's going to be a phone call if they are motivated, if we can tell they're motivated. If the property makes sense, I would never get on a phone call with someone if we haven't done at least a 60-second map check of, do we actually want to buy this? Do they want to sell in the next 30 to 60 days? And it's hard over texting to do the whole price thing. I'm not a huge fan of it unless we're doing those lower value opportunities and we're just trying to qualify people out. Then I'd get on the phone. Now, if it's an entitlement opportunity and we're looking for 30-acre land in that Tampa area, I don't really care. If they say sure, boom, phone call. Right? Because that's 5 to 10 years from now, I'll be here. Whenever you want to sell, Paul, I'm here. Save me in your phone as the land buying girl, and I'm ready for you whenever you're ready.
Yeah, that's really good. So I want to dig in a little bit more about the sort of analysis portion of before you're making offers. when does that happen? So you mentioned there's a 60-second map right check, but I know that there's so many people, and I actually fell into this camp when I very first started too, is that I would analyze everything. So I knew everything about the property before I even got the person on the phone. And it was just such a bottleneck in my business. And so can you talk a little bit about how you guys approach that and what's an efficient way, especially if someone is one person show, how do they go about getting information and when does that happen?
This has been something that we have changed in our business 10 times, the due diligence process. I'm sure everyone's gone through some sort of land training, maybe not everybody, but you're just taught due diligence. Okay, but the truth is that there are 3 phases of due diligence, 3 or 4 things in that market or about a piece of land that would immediately mark it as something we do not want. That is the most important thing to do while you're in that qualification phase, whether it's an RVM, a phone call, a text. Let's talk about that. A skinny property that's great for a billboard. That's not for me. That might be for someone listening. Oh my gosh, I'm a billboard guy. That's great. Great for you. It's not always going to be the same for all of us. For me specifically, I'm looking for that buildable piece of land. Someone can build a home. It's got utilities. That is the box. Everyone's box is a little different. So the first phase of due diligence, you have to create your box and you have to tell your team, if this thing is covered in wetland in this market, it is a no for me. Does it just generally look like something that we would buy? Just take a quick peek at it. No, it has 60-degree slopes. Okay, probably not. Not for us. So that's a no right off the gate. Don't care about anything else. Don't care about who's on the deed. None of that stuff matters if it's a straight cliff. Ideally, that's 60 to 90 seconds, but in some markets, there might need to be some auxiliary checks. So in Nevada, you might need to check on water rates. If there's no water access to the property, it's probably a no-go. Those are just very, very low value properties. So again, I'm getting a little in the weeds here, but you really have to make sure you understand what kind of property you're looking for and your market to figure out phase 1. Then if it passes that phase 1, they want to sell. We're pretty sure they're motivated. There's a reason. Let's get on the phone. We have that. Really got to tell that person, hey, just to let you know, I've got a call in about 10 minutes. Does this work for a quick check-in call? I just want to ask a couple questions. And that we're just creating the idea. This is a 5 to 10 minute conversation because we all know sellers, they are amazing. Some are not, but they'll talk for hours. And so we have to cut them off.
That's really good. So phase 1, just so I understand, that happens for you guys before you even respond.
On the phone. No, we will respond if they answer a question about their property and I'm like, okay, it's like fishing. Send the thing out, bobber goes down. They answered a question about their property. We're in business. They've responded in now 2 text messages. Okay, cool. Let's just take a quick peek and make sure this is legit.
Before you get on the phone. Got it.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. So unless it's a high value property, then I would get on the phone sooner.